our card. So I'm going to grab the Big Shot machine. Now that you guys know how to do that little trick. Actually, let's go to watercolor next. So this is Stampin' Up's really thick watercolor paper, and I just cut a small strip. I'm going to do dimensions later for you. Then these are their Agua painters. The blue one, for me, it's just the way my mind remembers it, is a bigger tipped, and that's the one we're going to use today. And then this one with the white cap is a smaller tipped. Smaller is better for really fine details. We're kind of doing like a flat kind of wash on the back, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and use this little guy. And don't fill him with water beyond that mark. This is so cool because you can reuse those over and over and over again. All right, so I'm just taking my ink pad and I'm getting a little bit of this color, which is Soft Sky, on just the palette part of that right there. And then I can go ahead and add some. Now, you might want to squeeze a tiny bit of water with your thing just to make sure you get the right amount that you want. And go ahead and start putting it on. Now, if you want a smoother blended look, I would suggest adding more water. And if you want kind of a rougher look, which sometimes I like, I would suggest doing less water. And you can just go over this over and over again. And then if you end up with spots that you don't like, you can see if you can move it around so that they will blend together. Like if it's kind of pulling, you can kind of blend it out together. All right, so a trick of the trade is take this right away and tape it to your surface so it dries flat. You can always use the heat tool as well. So I have the handy heat tool right here from Stampin' Up, and this is a little stand that comes out, and you can put it on level 1 and it will dry your watercoloring. Level 2 is used for embossing. All right, all done with that part, and I'm just letting it dry, and hopefully that will dry as flat as it can. We're going to grab this and we are going to do our thank you. Okay, so I just dabbed in a whole bunch of different spots. I'm going to go ahead and do my thank you right on that watercolor paper. Oh, it looks so cool. I love this technique. I love it, love it, love it. And if you feel like you want it to be more vibrant afterwards, you can use your blender pens and any of your inks to make it more vibrant. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. You saw that I had some tape on it. Okay, here's your handy dandy Big Shot machine. So you can see that we're using these beautiful branches dies, and this one is a coordinating one for the pretty leaves that we did. This is for the base that we did. For those of you that got the new platform, this is what it comes with, is these two pieces right here. So we need our thin die adapter on top of our Big Shot platform. So go ahead and put the two right there is the beginning of your sandwich. The next thing we do is we grab the precision base plate, which is what you need for anything that is intricate. So you can see that we've used this beautiful branches dies, and they're very intricate, especially this one, and the one we're using right now. For those, you need the precision base plate. For ones that are open, do not use a precision base plate. You could just use a magnetic platform or a regular platform. And then we're going to put on another one of these little clear acrylic top cutters. Okay, and then go ahead and move it all the way through. You will feel a little bit resistance. That's okay. Just keep going. And I think we had a nice cut there. So bring it all the way out. And as you can tell, look at how good that cut with just going through it once. If you want a really good cut, you can go through it twice. So just pop it out. Okay. Once you got it popped out, I just use a toothpick and get all my little pieces out, which is really, really easy. Another way to do it is to quickly bend and fold it and get all these little pieces to just fall out. And a lot of them come out on their own. And then just take a toothpick and pop out your extra pieces. All right, back with you. Okay, for those of you who have the old Big Shot machine platform, this is what it looks like. It's got tabs that open up. We're going to open up to the very base level. I'm using this on my embossing folder that we're going to use with our paper. So here's your piece of paper that you're going to use for this. And since you know that it folds in one direction, like this, and then I use my bone folder to just go across and just make sure it's flat. This top part is going to be the beginning, the front part of our card, so that's the part to pay attention to. Now grab your emboss folder. This is called Petal Burst Emboss Folder by Big Shot, Stampin' Up's product. And there's two sides, so when it opens up, you'll notice that one has a thicker ridge around the sides and one has another thinner ridge. You want the thinner ridge going down. So we're going to make this so the card just wraps right on around that, and then just flip this up and over. Now just to make sure that it has a good fit that's right on the edge, I bring this all the way up to my edge and I leave it open and run it through like this. Okay, so let's get your platform open on the right page. Then you get another of your little cutting pads, and then we add a top cutting pad. And this is real fast and easy just to run through once. So go ahead and go straight forward. With any of my techniques that I'm teaching you guys, I want you to know it works for me, but you need to practice and figure out what works for you at home. So we've got our card base. We're all ready to go now. We've got all our pieces. We still have our piece of watercolor still drying. And then I've got a sample of that there for us and a sample of this here. All right, so I wanted to show you a really cool trick. There is a cool thing that Stampin' Up offers. It's a little brush that you can brush out these pretty easy, and I do like it. But if you don't happen to have that, just grab toothpicks, household toothpicks. I get one side that's flat and one that's sharp. That's just the way I like it to be. And then I already ran this through the Big Shot. Just pop out your little pieces, and sometimes you can do this right into the trash. I'm just going to try to save us time and do it right here. I'll speed this part up. Maybe add some music or something. Talk over it. So that makes it just so much faster. All right, so now it's just basically putting it all together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Blushing Bride piece that I already have cut, and I will make sure that I have the dimensions on my website, which is cmcstamps.com. So go to cmcstamps.com and grab the dimensions for this card when I post this video. Okay, so go ahead and put that flat. We're going to go ahead and use our Snell adhesive to put on this. And then I just line it right on up. Make sure that it looks like it's centered. And then once again, just make sure it's down tight. All right, we're almost done. Flip your branch over, and we're using the Tombow. I call it the green glue, but they also call it multi-purpose glue. Sold by Stampin' Up. And I use there's two sides. There's a tip side and a flat side. And I use the tip side. And as long as I have enough down at the bottom, it should start flowing out. There we go. I'm going to speed this part of the video up too. Only thing to note is you can do it in streaks or you can do little dots. In some of the more delicate areas, you can just do little dots. All right, so flip it around, and we're going to take it to the card and put it where we want it, which I think it looks lovely right there. Kind of have a faded watercolor look going on in the background. And then flip this around, and what I did is I took some dimensionals. Let me show you those. And I tend to cut my dimensionals. Not everyone does. You don't need to. Some people like them flat. But what I did is I see they come in little hexagons, and I went ahead and cut all the way up. And then as you can see right here, I cut again. So you're like cutting in half, and then you're cutting in half again. So you end up with 1/4 of the amount of dimensional. Okay. And I just got as much as I needed. So I don't know if you can tell, but I had already stuck 3 of these on the back, 3 of these little guys. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. And I'm almost done. And put it on. And you can kind of just decide what angle you want it to go on. I like it right there. Just stick them all down and your card is all finished. All right, I hope you had a blast with me today learning a new technique and learning how to put together the Thoughtful Branches card. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.